Yo, it's your boy Ringo TV Reactions. Back at you again with another one. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. So I was sent this particular video and I want to share my commentary about it. Interesting video. I want to share my thoughts, kind of break this thing down, find out exactly what's going on. I was sent this video today and I said, let me tackle this particular issue, find out what's going on in these streets. I took a listen to it and pretty much there's nothing that he said that is new. I want to be very fair in my approach with this particular content to kind of educate the YouTube community, whether you're a man or a woman. And the reason for that is, in these YouTube streets, right, it's like you got to pick a side. You got all types of content creators. I'm like one of the very few that is 100% authentic. Everyone else have already done picked a side, and it's a lot of pandering going on. And that's pretty much what I see with this particular content here. This content is basically, it's designed to only focus on men that are, I guess, entertained by men that primarily just bash women. And it's similar to the content that you would find when women pander towards men, and they kind of just, it's like they say all the things men want to hear. So what happens is, if you're a female content creator, as long as you are speaking against women, you're going to get the support of men. They're going to love you. Even though you're just pandering towards them, they don't care. They're entertained by it. So everything we're about to listen to is not coming from a place of really helping women. It is just a way to pander towards men that are entertained by that particular type of content. So I want to share my commentary about this so I can give it a fair and a balanced approach as a content creator, because you know, you got to be mature. You know, a lot of guys in these spaces, they're not really mature, especially when it comes to women. And I can tell when men are just doing content just to pander towards men in order to build a following. I could tell. You know, it's very easy for me to pinpoint, because everything he said in this video, you know, I talked about this 1,000 times. There's nothing new. You know, sometimes I even wonder why these kind of videos get sent to me when I've already talked about these things years ago. The only difference between me and all these content creators is that I actually have a fair and a balanced approach when dealing with you know, male and female relationships. I always provide a fair and a balanced approach. I know a lot of you that are losers, and I'm primarily talking about men that are losers. You enjoy content where men bash women all day. You get your rocks off. Somehow it turns you on. I don't see how this particular content is helping women, because it's not. It's designed to keep men tuned in. And typically these men are not the kind of men that would wife up a woman. None of these men have wives. None of them are taking care of children. None of these men are really standing on business. These are the issues that I see. You know? So now let's take a look at the content. Let's find out what we got, because a lot of the guys that gravitating towards this content at the same time is toxic. It really is, when you really understand it. But let's break it down, and let's take our time with each of the 10 reasons. Let's break this thing down, find out what's going on.
Not play dumb. When a man says she's for the streets, he ain't talking about a location. He's talking about your lifestyle, mindset, and history. Your damn resume. And I know you hate the label, but instead of crying about it, let's unpack why men are unable to look at you and see anything more than a cum dumpster. Today, I'm giving you 10 reasons why men size you up fast and categorize you for what you really are. This ain't to shame you, it's to wake you up before your looks expire and your future turns into therapy sessions and wine bottles.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
You know, it's amazing to me, guys. Like, it really is. Let's rewind that back. Let's rewind it back. Let's break it down. We want to be fair and balanced because as a content creator, as a professional in this field, I understand that you have to have a fair and a balanced approach. If not, anything you talk about is going to be looked upon as bashing black women. That's how it's going to look, no matter how you see it, right? So let's rewind this thing back and let's break this thing down. And we're going to add balance to this thing because what I notice with a lot of these guys that bash women, right, they never really focus on what men do. They act as if though their audience is predominantly men that are marriage-minded, family-orientated, and it's neither here nor there. The guys that typically watch this type of content are men that are pumping and dumping women, men that are smashing and dashing, men that just sleep around. They have no concern with whatever concerning a woman. These are just dogs. And it's amazing. It's amazing when you see this kind of content because it appears as if though he's giving you the truth. And there is truth to what he's saying. The problem is it's not coming from a place of sincerity. It's not coming from a place of, I really care about helping women. No, it's not about that. It's primarily about pandering towards a group of men that can't get women. I'm going to make this very clear. Now, to all the men that are viewing, right? Listen to me very carefully. If you had a fine woman in your life right now, I'm talking about she's beautiful from head to toe, you would not be on YouTube watching content where men always talk negative about women. You'll be too busy f***ing that particular woman. Or you might be getting some nice cooked meals or just spending some time chilling. Or even if you're not sleeping with the woman currently, you'll be more at peace, you know. So typically when you have situations like this, the men are not really with a woman. That's why they congregate on platforms. And it's entertaining to listen to these particular guys. Now, again, there's truth to what is being said. The problem is it's not coming from a place of balance. It's not coming from a place of, I really want to see these women get it right. Now, again, you have to think about this. Why would this particular brother be concerned about women that are from the streets? I don't really care about women that are from the streets. I'm not trying to rehabilitate women that are from the streets because they're in the streets. You don't see him talking about the quality women that are out there. Of course not, because normally these men don't have them. And I dare anybody to challenge Ringo TV. I dare you. Because all of these talking points that you hear from him, I've been talked about this. All right. Let's rewind back to tape. Let's get to the content.
Not play dumb. When a man says she's for the streets, he ain't talking about a location. He's talking about your lifestyle, mindset, and history.
Okay. Mindset, lifestyle, history. What about the lifestyle and history of men? What about men that only see a woman as a cum bucket, as you said? Why would a man want to sleep with a woman if he see her as a cum bucket? See, that's not very entertaining to men that are losers that want to be entertained by women bashing. See, when you come with a fair and a balanced approach to the content, all of a sudden now it's not that entertaining. But see, I have an audience of both men and women. So as a content creator, I got to understand that if I have female viewers as well as male viewers, I got to make sure that my approach is fair and balanced. I cannot just be bashing women all day. Can't do that. I got to be a professional, and I got to speak to things with balance. What about the men that only see women as a cum bucket? What about those men?
Your damn resume. And I know you hate the label, but instead of crying about it, let's unpack why men are unable to look at you and see anything more than a cum dumpster.
Why would you label women as a cum dumpster? If you have daughters, would you be okay with men looking at your daughters as a cum bucket or a dumpster or whatever the case is? Now, there is truth to what you're saying, sir. At the same time, the approach is just not right. The approach that you're using is sort of like a red pill platform approach, a Kevin Samuels type approach. And normally what that does, women are not listening to that. You're not going to be able to attract women with the content. You'll attract men, but these are males. These are men that typically don't have wives. They don't have families. They're not building anything. They just love being entertained. Now, the proof of the fact that you are pandering to men, let me provide the receipts on the screen. Okay, this is from his channel. It says we have a guy named The Lux Show. He came in there and he said, hey, brother, I don't know what caused the turn. Over the last couple of months, you've been killing it. Now, we got to examine that, ladies and gentlemen, because one of his followers or fans pretty much was like, wow, man, what happened? In other words, you used to do things different. What happened? You know, for the past couple of months, you've been killing it. Let's see what his response is. He said, sat in on some Zoom calls and the fellas took time out to tell me where I was losing them and where I was gaining them. So I finally understood who my audience is and where the problem come from. Do you see that? So who is his audience? Men. So who is he pandering to? Men. Notice the comment, follow. Keep going, brother. You are delivering a lot of value. I really wish nothing but success. But now notice the comment underneath. All women need this video and take it to heart. But the truth is, women are not listening to that because that's not his audience. This is why pandering content is dangerous, because the minute the brother divert, let's say, for example, the brother stops bashing women, then he's going to lose the men. The men ain't going to want to watch his channel no more. Again, what did he tell the brother? He said, sat in on some Zoom calls and the fellas took time out to tell me where I was losing them. Now, where was he losing the brothers? Probably he was on some old trying to help the community, trying to help black women. And they probably was like, look, bro, we don't want to hear none of that good woman stuff. We don't want to hear that, bro. You got to go in, bro. You got to talk about how these women out here doing dirt. My question is, why do you guys even like hearing that? Why aren't you guys focusing on getting a quality woman? Because I'm telling you, if you guys had a real woman by your side, bro, you wouldn't even be on YouTube, fam. I'm just being honest with you. A lot of you guys wouldn't even be caring about, oh, these women are doing this and these women are, you'll have a good woman in the house or a good woman to see somewhere. So you'll be excited and happy and fulfilled because you know you got yourself a quality lady. So typically men that gravitate towards that kind of content are normally men that don't have no sort of happiness, no sort of love, no companionship. They beat their meat every night. They masturbate watching porn, and that's their life. And they do this every single day. And it's really sad, as a 47-year young man, it's like I'm way more mature now than when I was in my early 40s. It's like life starts to teach you a few things. You start realizing that all that pandering stuff, it doesn't get you nowhere because your audience is going to be just a bunch of losers. The men that I want to be on the platform are real men, go-getters, bosses, men that are in either preparation to have success in relationships, men that are ready to do what they got to do, as well as women that are prepared and willing to do what they got to do. Of course, we'll talk about the negative things as well as the positive. But if you're only focusing on the negative things, then what you're doing is you're stereotyping all of the women as if though they're all 304s, as if though they're all in the streets. And it just looks bad because, again, my question is, how many of you guys want to get with a woman that have nothing but different D in her mouth every other week? I don't see how could you be so excited about having her in your life. So where are the quality women and why nobody's talking about that? Because it's entertaining to talk about the negative. Again, there's nothing wrong with pointing out the negative sides. There's nothing wrong with talking about the issues, but you got to have the solutions and you got to balance it out with the men. Because none of these, listen, the majority of men are not on point. You understand what I'm saying? The majority of men are not husband material, family orientated. Then you have a lot of brothers that don't even want to work. They want a woman to take care of them. So we got to balance it out because if we only focus on the negativity of women, we're going to lose that audience too. So you got to be fair and balanced. See, when you listen to my content, there's no pandering. I'm not pandering towards men. I'm not pandering towards women. I'm just being fair and balanced. That's it. That's the way you do content. Right? So let's listen back at the tape.
Not play dumb. When a man says she's for the streets, he ain't talking about a location. He's talking about your lifestyle, mindset, and history. Your damn resume. And I know you hate the label, but instead of crying about it, let's unpack why men are unable to look at you and see anything more than a cum dumpster. Today, I'm giving you 10 reasons why men size you up fast and categorize you for what you really are. This ain't to shame you. It's to wake you up before your looks expire and your future turns into therapy sessions and wine bottles. So let's begin. Number 1, you got too many bodies to be anybody's wife. We ain't talking about preference. We're talking about the number of men who gave you back shots, deep throats, and cream pies. And when I say cream pies, we're not talking about little Debbies. You can lie to your homegirls, you can downplay your past. But when a man of value meets you, he can sense the mileage. Your emotional depth is gone. Your intimacy is disconnected. And your walls aren't holding up tight enough. You're loose and loud. Let me make this plain. Every man you let smash took something from you. And now you're mad because the men you actually want are treating you like a rental. You let the whole hood joyride and then cry when the next man won't buy the car. Number 2, you compare every new man to the last dude that smashed. He ain't romantic enough. He ain't aggressive enough. He ain't tough like Tyrone. He ain't soft like Brandon. He don't hit it like Trey hit it. Newsflash. This man ain't competing with your sexual past. He's not gonna align with your trauma. If you can't enter a relationship free from your past with a clear mindset, you're still mentally in the streets, even if your body's sitting in his living room. No man wants his value to be measured using the performance of your previous partners. Number 3, your current children were created from recreational use. Promiscuity. You weren't covered, you weren't married, you weren't intentional. You were fun. Now you're mad. Because the fun came with a lifetime of responsibility. Let's keep it a buck. You had a kid with the dude that had the best pipe, not your best.
Now, notice, ladies and gentlemen, T-Bert came in here, wasn't here for the first 18 minutes. As soon as he walked in, He said, that was bars I just walked into. Do you see what I mean about how when a man is pandering, how it affects people that love when they hear a man bash women? But if you were to ask any of these guys, where's your wife? They don't have one. Where's your wife? Don't got one, right? Bars. See, just like I told you. Let's get back at the tape. Let's go.
Newsflash. This man ain't competing with your sexual past. He's not gonna align with your trauma. If you can't enter a relationship free from your past with a clear mindset, you're still mentally in the streets, even if your body's sitting in his living room. No man wants his value to be measured using the performance of your previous partners. Number 3, your current children were created from recreational use. Promiscuity. You weren't covered, you weren't married, you weren't intentional. You were fun. Now you're mad. Because the fun came with a lifetime of responsibility. Let's keep it a buck. You had a kid with the dude that had the best pipe, not your best interest. You laid down with a pookie and woke up with a car seat and court papers. And now you want the next man to move liability into his house and pretend you're safe because you're a part of Bible study club. No, ma'am. You don't get to welcome into the world the bloodline of degenerates and ask another man to raise them as their own. Number 4, you think submission is a transaction, not a requirement. You got it twisted. Submission ain't negotiable. It ain't earned, it ain't situational. It's divine. But modern women treat submission like, if he makes 6 figures and buys me this and takes me there, then I'll submit. You're not submitting to a man's order. You're submitting to Amazon orders, designer bags, early retirements, and the ability to go brag to your friend groups on how you made a man submit to the lifestyle you wanted. That's called materialism, not marriage. Let me make this plain. You're not a wife if submission is contingent upon a brand or account balance. You're a liability waiting for a man to buy excess just to argue with you about your tone later. Men don't submit to ultimatums. They walk away. Number 5, you are not authentic. Everything about you is bought and surgically attached. Your body, fake. Your lashes, fake. Your lips, injected. Your hair, imported. Your attitude is the likes of a hyena. You're a highlight reel, but for attention. But your mad men don't treat you with intention.
I mean, you calling women hyenas. Now, I heard that term throughout these YouTube streets. I already know who made up the talking point. So I know where he's getting that from. Like, everything he's saying, he got from other content creators. And see, the reason why I can say this thing boldly, fam, is because I've been on YouTube since 2006. I've been here before everybody. And I could just tell when somebody just kind of regurgitating stuff, trying to make it sound good to, I guess, please a male audience. But see, that's not helping the community. It's definitely not helping the women. Women are not receiving that. And this is why a lot of these guys typically never have women. I find that a lot of men, they don't know how to talk to women. They really don't. It's like they don't know how to talk. They don't know how to communicate. And they figure, let me just focus on bashing women in order for the men to give me their support. Now, I know how this thing works because I'm a content creator. When you bash women all day, men will be in your comments. They'll be supporting, talking about this, that, and they'll love you. But the minute you transition from that and you're on some old, anything that's contrary to bashing women, they'll turn against you instantly. You know what I'm saying? They'll turn against you. They'll say, oh, you're a Captain Saver HOE now. Now you're trying to pander towards women and don't have a channel where you speak against men in any way. Once you do that, the men are going to hate you. They're going to now say you're bashing men. You're trying to pander to women. You're trying to speak to a female audience. And there's really no loyalty. That's why you can't be fake. I think that as a content creator, you got to be real and you got to speak the truth. And whether men or women gravitate towards that truth, you got to be authentic, man. You can't be fake. Because the content is fake. Like, it's not real. Like, while I'm listening to it, I already done know. It's regurgitated. It's not coming from the heart. The things he's saying, you know, all of us brothers in these spaces, we done talked about these things. It's like he put it all into one and sold the package. And a lot of you younger guys that are naive, that don't know nothing about YouTube, haven't been on platforms like mine and others, you won't even know the difference. You'll be like, man, this guy's speaking the truth, bro. Like, he really going in, and he ain't going in, bro. He's just saying what we've been said already. And the thing is, it's not getting you nowhere. If the women are not listening so they can change, then it's all in vain. Because if his goal is really to help women, then my question to him is, if a woman is a 304, if a woman is in the streets and you know she been polishing off multiple men, but she still look good, is he willing to make that woman his wife? Is he willing to make a woman a wife who had kids out of wedlock, but she decided that she's going to submit to a man, she's going to do the right thing, she's going to listen? Would he take that woman that got a high body count and make that woman his wife? You know, if he knew the whole team blew her back out, but she's a reformed 304, would he take her down the aisle and say, yeah, I'm going to make her my wife now and show her love? I don't think he's going to do that. So the question is he really trying to help women, or is he just pandering to men? The answer is pandering to men. And we see this every day on YouTube. There's all different types of channels, ladies and gentlemen. This is why you have to know when something is real from when something is just pandering, you know. And again, if you look at the receipts, which is very, very clear, a brother came in and says, brother, I don't know what caused the turn. In other words, the turn of his platform, meaning that he must have been talking about something before, but he changed up. He says, over the last couple of months, you've been killing it. Now, why would a guy say he'd been killing it? Because this is a young, naive male that enjoys content where a man bash women. A lot of men come on YouTube to hear red pill rage, where men just bash women all day, but none of these men are sleeping with women. And if these men are sleeping with women, they're contradicting their entire message. Because why would you be a man that's now here's the thing. If this brother was really serious about his words, right, then technically he wouldn't be sleeping with no woman. He would be trying to wife him up, right? Is he going to come out in the public and say, bro, I haven't slept with a woman in 10 years? So if he decides to sleep with a woman in any given point and he don't make her his wife, then everything he talks about, he contradicts himself. This is why you got to stop allowing content creators to take advantage of you. If a man is really about that, he'll have the results. If a man is going to talk about money matters and how to get money, he should have some money. If a man is going to talk about relationships, he should have a wife. He should have a family. If he don't got none of those things, then you're just being played at the end of the day. You're being played. So again, when you look at his comment, he said he sat in on a Zoom call and fellas took time out to tell him where he was going, like, I guess, where he was losing them and where he was, I guess, gaining them. So he says, I finally understood who my audience is. So his audience is not women. His audience is predominantly men. So he understood what his problem was in terms of maybe he wasn't getting the views at first. And once he started bashing women, his numbers started to grow. Why? Because he's pandering to women. You see? So the brother congratulates him, says, keep going, brother. You're delivering a lot of value. Now notice, what value? If women are not changing, there's no value. See, to whoever that person is that commented, if women are not listening to that brother's videos and they're making the necessary adjustments, right, then there is no value. There is no value in just bashing women, and the only one that's listening are a bunch of degenerate men, right? If women are not changing their ways, you're not winning, right? The person, Danielle, underneath says all women need this video and take it to heart. But the truth is, and he hearted that person's comment, but the truth is women are not going to listen to that because your approach is wrong. If you're trying to reach women, especially women that might be in the streets, you're going to have a better approach. You're going to have, because remember, we're dealing with emotional women. We're dealing with women who are ruled by their emotions. So if you come out of the gate bashing, they're not going to listen. They're not going to listen to nothing you got to say. You're just wasting your time. You got to have a certain approach when you're dealing with women. Even if a woman is not in the streets, she'll be upset. Even if she's not in the streets doing the dirt, she'll be upset with you just by your approach. Because the approach is not coming from a place of, I'm really concerned. I really want to see women improve. They don't feel that energy. They feel you're just trying to attack. And that's the truth. You are attacking women. And they're never going to change listening to that. If anything, they're going to hate you. You know, if anything, you're going to have more women unsubscribe from your channel than subscribe because the approach is always wrong, you know? So you got to really think about that.
Look, men don't mind beauty and elegance, but they do mind deception. You're out here looking like Betty Boop, but the moment it rains, your whole identity washes away. You don't know if he's dating a woman or a painting. You want commitment? Try authenticity. Number 6. You only respect a man if he makes more than you. So if he's...
And that voice stuff you hearing in the background, that's him. He had some music playing in the background. I tried to use some sort of AI app to remove the beat, and it still kept the vocals in there. I just don't know why when people are doing content, you could low it down. Why play a song that has vocal when you're trying to speak? Your voice is going to be clashing with the other voices. Like, nobody can hear you. Right?
building but not balling, he's broke. If he's loyal but average income, he's invisible. Let a man make 6 figures and say no to you. Suddenly he's toxic. You can continue to move like this all you want. Just don't get mad when tricking continues to increase 200% during the summer. You don't respect men.
Why would tricking increase in the summer if your audience is predominantly men? Why? Why would tricking increase? It's because these men are not really living according to any standard either. This is why bashing women in the manner that you're doing, sir, is not helping the community, because the men are not husband material, nor have they been trained to be husbands. We love to say women haven't been trained to be wives, but if the truth be told, men haven't been trained to be husbands. All they know how to do is smash. That's it. You know, rare is it that men, when they meet a woman, they sincerely want to be with her. They just want to screw. You know, how many women, sir, have you dated, met up with, and was ready to take her down the aisle to make her a wife? How many women you use sexually just for recreational use? How many? When you meet a woman, do you just get with her and be like, well, I'm going to refrain from intimacy because I want to wait till when I get married? Or are you trying to hit it? See, if you're trying to hit it, but you didn't make her your wife, how could you talk about women being in the streets when you're in the streets? And see, this is why you have to have a balanced approach on the subject matter. If not, you're going to lose an audience. See, with the way that I'm communicating, both men are listening and women are listening. You know why? Because it's called balance. Balance is the key to life.
You respect the benefits men provide. That's why you're single. That's why you can't keep a man. And that's why the men who do have options leave you on red after you confirm you made it home safe.
So the men that got options leave her on red. Well, if they got options, how come they don't got wives? See, again, you're saying that these women are for the streets, but you're also praising and glorifying men that have options. Options for what? To screw? To get with women because they got money? Okay, where are their wives? No wives, right? So what are these men doing in the streets? Sleeping around with women. So how is it that the women are for the streets, but the men who are sleeping with them, they're good? Where's the accountability on men? We'll tell women they need to keep their legs closed and wait for marriage. Marry before you carry. Yet, if that was the case, why are men still trying to sleep with women? Hypocrite, right? And that's why women don't listen to you guys. When you guys come on social media and you talk, they don't listen to nothing you got to say. Some women get turned off as soon as you talk. As soon as you say, matter of fact, some women, as soon as you say modern women, they get upset. They be like, oh boy, here we go again. Because there's no maturity in the content. You have a lot of women that may have made mistakes in the past in their dating phase and whatever the case is. They may have done some dirt. It's one thing to speak of the problems. I don't think women will really be upset if you speak on the problem while balancing it out. I think the real issue happens when you focus only on bashing women and you ignore what men do. That is what make women look at you like you crazy, because it's like, so hold up, all these brothers don't do no dirt? You see? They'll listen if you point out both sides. Again, you're dealing with emotional individuals. So if you don't balance out what you do, women are not going to respect you enough to even pay you any mind.
Value isn't based on his income. It's based on your femininity. Rest in it, operate in it, and empower it. And our masculinity will amplify it. Anything else you do keeps you for the streets. Number 7, your trauma made you masculine, and you call it strength. That's not pandering. You had to grow up fast. You dealt with pain. You handled things alone. You raised yourself, and now you move like a man. You call it independent. You call it strong. Well, we know what it really is. Unhealed, unimpressionable, and uncooperative. Every time a man tries to lead you, you resist. Every time he tries to correct you, you push back. Every time he sets boundaries, you test him with disrespect. Your strength ain't beautiful.
And if you notice when you're listening to this video, it's fully edited. So he's not speaking fluent from the heart. This is all edits. You see cut, copy, paste, cut, paste, paste, paste. I don't do content like that. You see, like when I'm live and I'm talking, I'm fluent because I'm real. You won't see me doing this type of stuff. Clip, trying to form sentences. No, I just speak fluent because coming from the heart. When people do these type of edits, the content is not from the heart, is regurgitated, designed to make it sound one way, to make a particular group of people enjoy it. So it could be entertaining for them. But the truth is, when it comes to the dating market, neither the men or the women are winning because the women are not listening to the content because it's designed to bash women. Women don't listen to male bashing channels. They don't listen to that. You're not going to reach them with that. Now, that's not to say that there's no truth. The problem is the way you set up the content, you just labeled all women. You just threw everybody under the bus. You're making it seem like any woman that falls into these categories, they're for the streets. So, okay, if they're for the streets, why are we even focusing on them? Are we trying to rehabilitate women that are on the streets to turn them into wives? Because if your answer is no, then what's the point of making the content? If you don't sincerely from the heart want to see women do better, who've been living a promiscuous life or whatever the case is, you're wasting your damn time. You're wasting everybody's time. You know? If you're not trying to make a woman a wife that got some kids out of wedlock, you wasting everybody's time. You're going to have to be real with the people and not sugarcoat, you know, because women can tell when you're full of shit. They know. Like when I listen to this guy, I can tell that he's not really real. I can tell that he's just an actor. See, when I talk, when you see me, you see a person who's real. I'm not here trying to pander. I'm not here trying to bullshit. I'm not here trying to get a reaction out of you. I'm just speaking straight. You know what I mean? I'm a real father. I got real kids. Y'all saw on my previous live where my daughter came on and y'all heard her in the background. See, when you watch these kind of guys, you don't hear no kids around. You don't hear no family. It's like it's not real. You know what I mean? And that's not a knock at dude. At the same time, it is a knock because just like in the beginning of his video, he said he's not trying to bash or anything, but you are bashing these women. You're putting them down at the expense of entertaining a bunch of losers who don't even got women. You know? Again, are you trying to rehabilitate 304s so they could be wives? Are the men who view your content, are they interested in getting with a reformed 304? Are they interested in getting with a woman to make her a wife if she got 1,000 bodies? If the answer is no, why are we even addressing these issues? Why are we even talking about women that are for the streets? And how did they become for the streets if men are not sleeping with them? So obviously men are sleeping with these women that are from the streets. They just couldn't be in the streets. Somebody had to be sleeping with them. So what about talking about the men that are sleeping with them? You see? Now, a lot of the men that love bashing women, they're not happy about what I'm saying. You know why? Because it holds them accountable. They have to look into the mirror. They don't like doing that.
Combative. And your masculine energy is the very thing keeping you single. Let me make it clear. Men don't want to lead a woman who thinks she's a man. It's just that simple. Number 8. You only take leadership if it comes with money bags and traveling. Modern women don't submit to men. They submit to lifestyle packages. That's why you'll be in Dubai with a man you don't respect. In Cancun with a dude you clown behind his back. Or in Dior while plotting how to upgrade to Chanel. You want leadership? Cool. But let me ask you this. If he has established peace in his life, can you come in without disrupting it? If he loves the current lifestyle he lives, can you come in and maintain it? Can you prepare a sandwich? Can you be modest? Can you nurture the household? Or is your pride too strong to do these simple things?
You see, all of the things that he's talking about is just constant ridicule and bashing of women. At the same time, sir, do you have a wife? Do you know how to work with your hands? Do you know how to build a table? Do you know how to frame a wall, work on the roof, the plumbing, the electrical? Do you know how to do those things? What if a woman questions all the things you can't do? How would you feel? Because we heard all of these things already. It's 2025. We're still asking women if they know how to cook. It's 2025. We still asking women, can they make a sandwich? Most of us men are in our 40s, 50s, and we still asking women if they know how to fix a sandwich. My thing is this. How many men, right, that are watching your platform actually found themselves a decent quality woman with all the stuff you done talked about that they claim you've been killing it? How many men have successfully found decent quality women and made them wives by just listening to your content? I guarantee you none. Because it's not designed to help them. It's just entertainment. The women are not listening, and the men are not growing. But you're getting that YouTube check. Anything to keep that check coming in, right? Now, I ain't against making money. What I'm against is just manipulating the people. I don't like that. Like I said, the stuff you're talking about, sir, it's old. We talked about this 1,000 times. And most of us brothers, we found out that it just don't work. It don't work. You might think you're benefiting. In the long run, it's not going to work. Because once more women realize that you're just another red pill, bash a woman channel, it's not going to benefit you. I'm going to tell you one thing. When you do content, you got to be balanced. I know you're watching, and I know you will watch because I'm Ringo TV. You watch me. I know you do. Because I can listen to some of your content, and I can tell that you've been influenced by me. Like a lot of these guys, I know. So being that you're one of my students, right? Let me give you some advice. Learn how to be fair and balanced when you do content. Because the same way you criticize the women is the same way I can criticize you. See how that feel? How does it feel when another man criticizes you? How does that feel? See? But it's okay to talk about the women because none of the guys are going to question you because they love it. But see, I'm a content creator. And my words hold weight. It's very valuable. My influence is strong. It'll get back to you. Somebody will tell you. They always do. Somebody will DM you and say, hey, this guy Ringo TV made a video about you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now, why would they tell you that? Why would another man go to a man and tell a man that, yeah, Ringo TV made a video about you? You know what kind of man that is? That's called a bitch. Because men don't do that. Iron sharpens iron. If a man does a reaction video, it's a reaction video. It's protected under fair use. But when another man hit you up privately, that's a bitch. Because what that man is technically trying to do is make you become a female. He wants you to respond out of emotion. Try to prove something. No need for all of that. Just be a man. You know what I mean? Be fair, be balanced, and you'll be able to catch more fish. You understand what I'm saying? If you're one-sided, then you're going to offend a whole heck of a lot of women. Now, again, there's truth in the things you're saying. But that truth, all of us brothers been talked about. It's just that the way you're going about it, it's not going to get no one to change. That's like going to somebody that's an alcoholic and you just keep bashing them. That's not going to help them. You understand? Somebody on drugs, you keep calling them a crackhead, disrespecting them. It's not going to help them. They're not going to change. You know? You got to have a certain kind of approach. You can give them the truth. At the same time, you got to come at them in a right manner. And you got to be fair. You got to be balanced. If you're just talking about the women and you're not talking about these men, you're wasting your time. In order for a woman to be from the streets, it had to take another man to fuck that woman. It had to take another man to know that that woman is in them streets and he went with her. So what about that guy? What about the men that are enablers of the women that are in the streets? What about the men that have no problem piping down a woman who's a baby mama that got all sorts of baggage and problems? What about that man? What about all the men that want to sleep around with a woman, but he don't want to wife her up? What about that man? You ain't talking about that man. See, that's the problem. That's why women won't listen. Because they'll realize the hustle is not really in trying to help women. Women can tell when you're sincere. They could tell when you're full of shit. I'm just keeping it a buck.
I know what it is. Your OnlyFans and Instagram is still trending. You're waiting on the decline, then you'll submit. You won't follow a man until the clout fades. And that's why men with purpose don't even look in your direction anymore.
Why would men with purpose be looking for women in the streets in the first place? Again, sir, you gotta ask yourself the question, when you do this content, are you trying to convert women that are in the streets to become wife material? Because if you're not focused on that, you're wasting your time, because you're speaking as if though these men out here are all full of value. A lot of men are out here doing dirt, just like women are doing dirt. So when you do content, you got to balance out the playing field. You can't have a one-sided platform, because that's outdated. We're in 2025. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of women out here that are not in the streets. And the only reason why a lot of these women may be single is because a lot of men ain't shit. And they don't want to get caught up. They don't want to put themselves out there and get up with the wrong dude. So they basically just stay into themselves, but they're decent women. So you got to also acknowledge the fact that there are women out here that are on point, as well as talking about the negative. That way, you're not categorizing all women, because that's how they're going to take it. No matter how you see it, women are going to take it like you're just bashing all women. Once they hear your tone, they're turned off. Once you say modern woman, up, another Kevin Samuels. That's how they're going to see you.
Which brings us to reason 9. You only want to be wife material because OnlyFans ain't hitting. Oh, now you want to be covered.
Now you just threw in OnlyFans. Again, you're categorizing women in general as if though they're all on OnlyFans. You're focused on 304s. Again, there are women that are on OnlyFans. I get it. At the same time, you're speaking to women and you're assuming that they all got an OnlyFans account. That's crazy work. What about the men who sign up to OnlyFans, bro? This is where your content fall on deaf ears, because all of the women that are on OnlyFans right now making millions of dollars, who do you think is making them millionaires? Men. Why you ain't talking about that? Why you ain't talking about the amount of men that follow your platform that registered to most of these female accounts? And some of these brothers are spending about $500 a month just on OnlyFans, paying women bills, simping. And then when you make videos to bash women, your male audience been simping the whole time, spending thousands of dollars a month on social media, sending women cash apps to see feet pics and booty pics and breasts. You got to be a sick dude to sign up and follow women on OnlyFans to see some toes. You have to be a fucked up dude in the head to be paying $30 to $50 a month to see a woman's butt, bro. What kind of sick man are you, bro? You're supposed to be focusing on your money. You busy beating your meat to the computer. You can't see how you fucked up, bro, mentally. The devil got you. So, bro, while you talking, what about these dudes that support these OnlyFans pages? Because if these women are on OnlyFans, somebody got to be watching them, and it's most likely a ninja that is wasting his money. What about that? No talk, right? I know.
Now you want a provider. Now you want to start salvaging the worth you have left. No, ma'am. You didn't want a husband when you had no stretch marks. You didn't want to commit when your DMs were jumping. You didn't want a leader when you were catching flights and showing up to Airbnbs. Now the rent's due. The engagement is down. Your audience is looking at the more young and firm. Your OBGYN is tired of warning you and diagnosing you. And now you want to pivot into Proverbs 31. Let me tell you something. You don't get to ride pipe by pipe for 15 years. Then ask for a husband while you bring coochie full of mileage.
You ever wonder, where are the decent women that this brother actually got? He's just talking in a manner to make men cheer him on. I know this kind of content, bro. It's like, it's just sad, bro. Like in 2025, dudes are still trying to pander to men by bashing women. It sounds so outdated. I keep telling you, a lot of you content creators, man, if y'all don't change and get your situation right, nobody gonna watch you in the next 3 years because they're gonna realize you're just full of shit. As soon as they turn you on, they're gonna be like, bro, you sound like so-and-so. Bro, you copying that dude. Bro, you doing, man, I don't want to watch you no more. It's not going to be popular. You see what I'm saying? You're going to have to really learn how to speak and be a professional and not be pandering to different groups. Because I can promise you, all of the men that watch your platform, they don't got no wife. They're not husband material. Most of them got a bunch of babies out of wedlock from different women. They don't even pay their child support. Right? But they'll cheer you on when you bash women. But these men don't even take care of their own responsibility with their kids. Make it make sense. You know? So you got to think about the audience you're raising up. Are you raising up a bunch of quality men? Or are you raising up a bunch of damn losers? I don't want no losers on my platform. I want quality brothers that are here, that are go-getters and bosses, that are out here doing what they got to do, taking care of their families or trying to build a family. I don't want no bitch-ass ninjas on my platform that just want to come here because they want to hear me talk ish about a woman. And they cheering me on, but yet on the sidelines, in the back, in the booth, in the dark, these very same men are doing dirt. Nah, it's accountability on all fronts. The men are going to be held accountable. The women are going to be held accountable. That's how we do business here on Ringo TV Reactions. Let's get back at the tape.
Shouldn't expect to be walked down the aisle to the altar, but you can continue to get buzzed in after 2 a.m. Number 10, which is the final one, so make sure y'all like this video. You've rejected submission so long, you think order is slavery. You hear leadership, you roll your eyes. You hear structure, you start quoting feminism. You hear submission and think it's oppression. Let's get one thing straight. Submission is not slavery. It's not abuse, it's not weakness. It's the divine flow of relationships. But you've been rebellious for so long, that order feels like jail time.
What about men that haven't been leaders for so long? Men that won't submit to God and do what they got to do? What about those men that don't value women, that just see women as a cum bucket? What about those men? See, there's no conversations about that. Because if you talk about those men, they'll unsubscribe from your channel. That's why you won't address it. That's how you know when you're pandering to to men, excuse me. When you refuse to hold the men accountable, that is when you know you're pandering to men. And that's not going to help this generation of people.
That's why when a man of principle comes around, you sabotage it. You'd rather date a man you can control than marry a man who can correct you.
So you want to marry a woman who's a 304, a woman that is of the night, a streetwalker? Again, if your content is about the 10 things of why men categorize women as being for the streets, if that's the content, are you saying, sir, that if a 304, a woman of the night, would get her act together, that you would make her your wife? Is that what you're saying? Because if you're not, you're a hypocrite. Because you shouldn't be talking about something unless you're willing to be with a woman of that caliber. You understand? Would you sleep with a woman that's a single mom that got 5 kids, but she look good? You would sleep with her, right? But you won't marry her. See the difference? How many single mothers you slept with, bro? How many single mothers you got some head from, but you didn't want to make her your wife? What does that make you? What does that make you, sir? Every woman you laid up with that you never married, what does that make you? That means you contributed to her being in the streets. Makes you a fucking hypocrite. And that's the problem with a lot of men. No accountability. We focus on the woman, but we don't focus on ourselves. I mean, we have a lot of dudes out here that be doing dirt. We have a lot of dudes out here that be doing evil. We have a lot of women that be doing evil. A lot of women be doing a lot of mess out here. But for crying out loud, it's 2025. We got to begin to balance out the playing field, man, and get serious as adults, man. We got to be adults in today's day and take accountability for where we are and stop pointing the finger at one group, because it's not going to help us in the long run. The very same people that praise you right now will be the very same people that will speak against you and say, bro, you changed, bro. Or, bro, you fell off, bro. Man, you used to be lit, but now it's like, man, you talking about balancing this and that. Now all of a sudden, those very same people against you. Because why? Those are demons that was controlling your platform.
And that, sis, is why you're categorized. That is why men put you in a hotel instead of a house. All right.
You said men put her in a hotel rather than a house. So are you telling me, sir, you're ready to put a woman in a house? I doubt it. I doubt that you, sir, are ready to put any woman in a house. And I doubt that any of the men that follow your platform, I doubt that any of them are willing to put a woman in a house. It's not on their mind. Today's man don't even want to be married. They even teach other men not to get married by the state. So men are not in a position to even want to be married. So what are we talking for? And 90% of all the men that watch your platform are not monks. They are every day looking and hunting for a woman to lay pipe on. But they're not looking for a woman to make a wife. That's the problem. So any woman that is in the streets, or any woman we assume is in the streets, the only way she could be in the streets is if a man is putting her in the streets. Because she can't have sex by herself. Somebody's with her. So why there's no talk about that?
Final thoughts to the women. Y'all say I'm not for the streets, but the evidence says otherwise.
What evidence? You don't know all the women that are viewing the platform. That's a problem. You already generalized all of them. You're not going to have women respect you when you're generalizing all of them. Again, you can speak about the problems, but you got to be clear. You got to clarify the things that you're saying. You got to be very clear. You're saying the evidence. When you say the evidence, that's misleading because you don't know any of the viewers personally. It's one thing if we know of a particular woman right here who's doing dirt and we have the evidence, then we can say that. But when you're just speaking and you don't know none of your viewers and you're saying we got the evidence on you that you're doing this and doing that, that's wrong. They're not going to like that.
If your body count is classified, if your submission is conditional, if your peace depends on a man's paycheck, if your loyalty lasts as long as your hairstyle, then ma'am, you're for the streets. You don't need prayer circles. You need repentance. You don't need love. You need correction.
Now you said repentance. Now for you to say repentance, sir, that means that you're claiming to have some sort of faith and belief in God. So my question to you, sir, is this. How many women have you slept with and didn't make a wife? Where's your repentance? Where's your repentance of all the women you laid up with in lust, in heat, in the sight of God, and you never made them a wife? Again, before you talk, when you point that finger, you got to remember that thumb is pointing back at you. That's right. You're telling women to repent, but have you repented? Have the men that watch your platform, have they repented? Or are they still out there doing dirt? All I'm saying is, as a man, If you find yourself a quality woman, take care of that woman, show that woman some love, good conversations, and really be with her for real, for real. Because life is short. We don't got time to be out here just playing these streets. And you shouldn't be out there just laying pipe on every damn woman you see. That's dangerous. You understand? A man of discipline don't do that. A man of discipline is not going to be out there just throwing pipe everywhere. Because he's disciplined. It's what happens when you're mature. But with what this brother's doing here, he's not really sincere in terms of trying to reach women. And I'm talking about good women. He's basically mocking women that are in the streets. And the women that are in the streets are not even watching the videos to even waste their time. Only men. And the men that are watching are typically men that don't have a wife or a woman, anything. They're just entertaining.
And the moment you stop thinking that men are the problem and start asking why you keep getting dismissed, you'll stop being a cum dumpster.
Charles says all y'all do is talk about each other instead of helping. Why are you here? At Charles. You're assuming that I'm not helping while I'm doing this content? That's what you're saying? So let me get this straight. You're so dumb and so slow that you're basically saying that I'm not helping? This is crazy, man. He says, when have you ever helped each other? Show the video. Bye. This is what happens when people are delusional. This person is literally watching my platform. I'm over here being ultra fair and balanced, helping. But this person is so dumb and slow. They said, show the video when you've been helping. I'm telling you, bro. A lot of these people you're not going to be able to save. They're slow.
And finally start optimizing yourself for suitability. And to the fellas, you're not crazy, you're not bitter, you're not judgmental. You're wise for avoiding women who refuse to grow. You're righteous for protecting your peace, your purpose, and your name. Keep your standards high. Keep your discernment sharp. And stop arguing with rebellion. We build with order. We strive for righteousness.
This man is not righteous. I don't sense no righteousness. If he's righteous, he would have a wife. He would not be pandering towards men. The men that watch his platform would be righteous men that respect women, that are trying to build families, focusing on their business. I just don't sense that.
And we protect our peace at all cost. And I know I'm going to see you fellas in the comments. And to the women still listening.
Notice he said, I know I'm going to see you fellas in the comments. Those are not fellas. Those are simps. Those are beta males. Those are males that just like to hear an echo chamber. Those are not men. Real men are busy working, building, thriving. If you don't see women saying how their life was changed, everything you did was in vain.
You're ready to do away with being a heathen? Shoot me an email so I can help you recalibrate. You need to know what you should bring to the table in order to be taken serious and considered as a valuable option.
How and why would you consider a woman a valuable option if she contacts you? So if a woman contacts you with 1,000 bodies, 5 kids out of wedlock, she's been throwing that thing back, you can recalibrate her to make her valuable now. You're going to marry her, right? I'm telling you, man, sometimes you hear things and you listen and you be like, man, these people just full of shit, bro. It's like they're just saying stuff and it's like, it doesn't make any sense, bro. Because you know they're not serious, man.
You will learn that in this video. Watch it, take notes, and send me an email if you have any disagreements.
Well, I made a video. Will you respond? I don't think you want to do that. You know anything about Ringo TV? We will respond to you with 100 videos. Literally. Because I'll challenge any of these guys. Because a lot of these men, they're not family men. They don't got no wives. They don't got no history of taking care of no woman. And they're just regurgitators talking what men been talked about years ago. And I'm not impressed. Now, the people who follow him, they might be impressed. They might be like, bro, yo, you the man, bro. Yo, you going in, bro. No. None of that stuff is helping these women. None of it. Because if she's for the streets, you cannot. What is the number one rule? Guys, if you don't know this, I'm blocking you. What is the number one rule we say about women of the streets? What is the number one saying that all men supposed to know? Let's see if you men are able to come up with that answer. Because if we're trying to have or make women into wives, what is the saying, brothers? What is the saying? What is the saying? I want to see who got it. One of you going to get it. I want to see who's going to get the answer. There you go. Polo with the pen says, can't turn a 304 to a wife. Congratulations. Once you understand that rule, it contradicts everything in his video. If a woman is for the streets, you cannot rehabilitate her. You cannot turn her into a wife. You cannot change her ways. You wasting your time. I'm not interested in converting a 304 into a wife. I'm not trying to have kids with a 304. So the truth of the matter is, he's wasting his time talking to nobody, because it's like, why would you be focusing on bashing women that will never change? You're wasting your time. A woman that's on OnlyFans is not going to stop her OnlyFans and mess up her money to make you happy. It's not going to happen. So it is what it is, man. Shout out to all the good women out there that are on point doing what they got to do. Shout out to the brothers out there that are on point doing what they got to do. You know? You cannot turn a 304 into a housewife. That's rule number one. Every man supposed to know that. So if she's for the streets, then guess what? She's for the streets. You can't change something that's on the streets. You got a stray dog out in the streets that's biting people and running around foaming at the mouth. I don't want that dog in my house. No way. You know? Just like if you got a dude that's in and out of the penitentiary sleeping with men, why would you sisters want to date that guy? How many of you sisters would date a man that would confess to you that while he was in prison, he was sleeping with men? How many of you ladies? How many? How many of you ladies gonna wanna date a man that tell you that he was topping off men and blowing the backs of men out in prison? I don't think you ladies are gonna be willing to get with that. You're gonna be like, hell no. Even if he confess his sins, you're not gonna deal with him. Because why? If he was blowing men backs out in prison, even if he get with you, he'll still blow another man back out. It's facts. Why? When somebody is set in their ways, you can't stop them, bro. You know? It is what it is. So, hey, I might do another video with this, fam. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot I can pretty much talk about with this. Maybe this is just an introduction. You know what I mean? Yeah, but that video was sent to me. I wanted to share my thoughts. And there's a lot more. I'm going to break it down thoroughly again. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot more content in there that I could pretty much share, you know, with the people. But y'all stay safe, man. I got to take care of some business. I'll be back later on with more. All right? Y'all stay safe out there. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel, Ringo TV Reactions. The #1 reactionary channel on YouTube. Hands down. You already done know what it is. Ringo TV. The #1 reactionary channel on YouTube. Putting in work since 2006. Till now. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Yeah. We out of here, y'all. Y'all take care. Peace. We out.
If you like our content, consider supporting via Cash App at $Ringo TV Raw. Become a patron on patreon.com for exclusive video content not shown on YouTube. You could also support through PayPal at paypal.me/Ringo TV Raw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of new content. Follow me on Instagram at Ringo TV Raw.
This is Ringo TV Reactions, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth 100%